Hello, good morning and welcome to a new video. And today I'm out with the love of my life, Carol. Say hello, Carol.
I didn't think you were referring to me. I thought you were referring to the love of your life there.
Well, I'm out with my MT10 as well. And I've had this MT10 now 5.5 years nearly. And I absolutely love the bike. But as many of you might know, especially if you are owners of this bike, there's a new model coming out in February, and it has my interest, if I'm being honest. And there are a few key features which I'll quickly run through, and I'm obviously interested in what you guys think, especially if you're an owner of an existing MT10 or an MT10 SP. What do you think of the new changes? The most obvious one is the front end here. It's now got daylight running lights just there, and it looks quite different at the front. So the other major changes, it's got a radial master cylinder, I think, Brembo, and the engine is basically the same but with a few revisions. And I think it's gone up from what sort of horsepower, Carol?
It's gone up by 6 horsepower, which I don't know quite how they've done, because it's got the same engine and it's also Euro 5, and normally when they've done Euro 5 they seem to put a bigger engine in but keep the same horsepower,
do,
so they've done some trickery somewhere, we're not quite sure where.
But they've managed to get it through Euro 5 and go up with horsepower. I mean, the torque's gone up a tiny amount, hasn't it? Is it 1 Newton metre?
1 Newton metre, I think.
Yeah, 1 Newton metre, which is hardly here or there. And you could, you know, if you're an existing owner, you could argue that with a remap and an exhaust, your existing bike will probably make as much power, if not more power.
It may be that's how they've done it, because they've changed the exhaust system as well, haven't they? So they've got a new titanium exhaust system on the new one, I think.
Yeah, apparently the headers are titanium. I mean, I've yet to dig into the absolute fine detail, and to try and find out a little bit more, we're heading off to Tamworth Yamaha, which is quite a big main Yamaha dealer, and see if we can find out a bit more info and try and find out when there's going to be a demo bike. And I definitely want to demo it, don't I?
Yes. But you ought to think about other bikes in the same sort of class as to what you could have instead to make a change.
Well, who says I want to actually sell this?
You may just keep that. I mean, what you've done, 28,000 miles on it now?
28,000 miles on it now.
They've all been good ones, so...
They have, yeah.
Do you want to chop it in even? So
I don't know. See, the Euro 5 is going to be a quieter exhaust, isn't it? And,
well, they say that, but then they've done all these funny trickery with noise and how it sounds and how the sound comes up to the rider and stuff like that, so I don't really understand how that all works either.
Well, apparently they've done some big changes to the airbox, and somewhere here is some gills that's supposed to direct more of that intake noise to the rider. So it remains to be seen, and you're not going to be able to tell that until you actually get on it. And ride it.
I mean, the only thing that we always thought was worth changing is getting better fuel economy out of it, and apparently it's slightly better. So,
well, what are their figures that we've seen?
I think the figures on the current one, the one you've got now, you're looking at 35 miles per gallon.
That's UK gallons, by the way.
Gallons, yeah. So they're talking about 41.5 miles per gallon. So you've got into the 40s, I suppose, if you change.
You know, I've never ever got this bike into the 40s. I believe it's got the same size tank on it, but if it just gives you a little bit more range, it just makes it that little bit more practical as well. So, and you're saving the planet by not using quite as much fuel.
You've been worried about saving the planet. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, shall we get on the bikes, Carol, and
I think we need to
take a run over to Tamworth and go and see what they've got to say?
Yeah, okie dokie.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
If you were really serious about green issues, you wouldn't change your bike at all, would you? Surely it's greener to just keep it.
I think it's probably greener to keep the bike you've got. And if that happens to be a two-stroke bike, I think you could argue you're being green when you take that down the road. That you're not actually having a new bike made. Go on, I need me eating grips on, Carol.
I was just thinking the same, actually.
See, this airbox noise that they're talking about, you know, to make it still a thrilling sound to ride, you know, even with the Euro 5 exhaust. I think there's something to it, because on lots of the videos that we've done in our recent Scotland series, lots of people have commented on the bike, on the noise that your bike makes, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, the airbox rush when you overtake. I do think yours sounds great, actually, full chat.
Just need to keep it in a lower gear, get it revving.
So the trouble is, to get a lot of noise out of this exhaust, you've got to take the catalytic converter off, haven't you? And lots of people
who have an MT10 have done that, haven't they?
Well, I wouldn't like to say most, but most of the people I know of on the forums and the groups have indeed removed the cat. The Mini's still on my tail here. Let's get this guy out a bit. Yeah, mate. Even a Cooper S won't keep up with this. Yeah, I love riding this bike.
See, why would you want to change it, you see?
Well, you wouldn't actually be changing it, would you? You'd be buying the same bike.
Effectively, yeah.
Technically, although it's slightly different. Apparently, one of the revisions is a slightly different seat, so that'll
be
please a lot.
Break for you, though, won't it?
Well, yeah, I like the stock seat on this, so you know. But I find this bike really comfortable, so I hope they've not changed it much.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to change to something more uncomfortable. You could ride that all day quite happily, can't you? So
I've done 400 and 500 mile days on this bike.
Yeah.
So apparently the rider triangle is slightly different as well, isn't it? So
again, that could be make or break, because
yeah, you don't know until you've ridden it.
Yeah.
See, what's really annoying me though, Carol, is we're going to the NEC bike show next weekend, and Yamaha aren't going to be there.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty rubbish, really.
Yeah.
You know, they've got all these new bikes out. They've got the XSR 900 new shape out, and I've got one of those as well. They've got the MT10 coming out. Why wouldn't they want to show us those new bikes? Allow the punters who are interested in spending their hard-earned cash on a motorbike, why wouldn't they have a bike there for us to sit on? I think it's pretty rubbish,
but I mean,
really.
at least I suppose you can go and sit on all the competition, and maybe something else will take your fancy, in which case it's their lot, isn't it? I mean, you are a typical MT10 buyer. You've got one for 5 years. You've done 28,000 miles on it. You are their ideal customer who's going to upgrade to a new one. But if you can't actually sit on it,
but there are other bikes that do interest me.
What else do you actually look at?
Well, I'm quite interested. Left field, I know, but the Moto Guzzi V100. Oop.
What are you doing?
Managed to tap my quick shifter, which kicked us into second gear with my new big boots. Luckily, I wasn't revving the bike at the time, so I've been wheeling away into the back of you.
Back of me, yeah, great.
Yeah. Luckily, it just stalled it.
On the insurance, wasn't it? When both insured with the same insurer.
Yeah. So I'm interested in the V100, but I think that's part of the Piaggio group, and they're not going to be there either. So if you are heading to the NEC, just be aware there are some major manufacturers that are not there.
It's unfortunate, really, isn't it? It's surprising, really, because they didn't have a show at all last year. And
no, I think they're chucking all their resources at the is it the Italian show? Is it EICMA? I can't remember, but yeah, they'll all be there, and I think the NEC is quite soon after that, and they probably think it's a lot of hassle to transport everything to do both. Yeah.
They must normally.
I don't know, but as a Brit, it's quite disappointing that the what was the flagship motorbike show isn't going to have the bike that I'm most interested in. I mean, I did ask a guy whose opinion I value, Paul. He's one of the subscribers on my channel. He's a bit of a collector of bikes, and what his opinion is, and I don't think he's too enamoured with Euro 5. So,
no.
but he did suggest the new GT from Suzuki. Is it the GSX-S1000 GT? It's a mouthful, I think, but
it's the what? Suzuki what?
GSX-S1000 GT. It's basically a naked. Well, it was a naked. It's available in naked form and faired form, but it's basically got a very old version of their superbike engine in it, which was much applauded at the time, and supposedly a really good engine. And it's reasonably frugal, and I quite like the look of that bike. And
find a picture.
Yeah, I shall definitely take one out and have a go.
What else is there then? You always liked the KTM's Super Duke?
KTM Super Duke. Yeah.
Although a lot of people have had some trouble with them, haven't they?
Well, yeah, say that, but then other people say I've had no bother, and they are the best ultimate tool. I've sat on the Tuono, which everybody, all the magazines applaud as the best super naked, but it's too small for me. It's too tight, it's too compact.
That is.
Yeah, it is a smallish riding position, whereas this is quite roomy. That's why I'm concerned if they revise the riding position. Which way do we go here?
Straight over, according to that. But
right.
I think we have to sit here for a moment.
Yeah, so the Super Duke, I'd like to take one out, but I'm not sure I'm brave enough to buy one. I mean, I was watching the
KTM dealer is.
Yeah, I watched how the Likeable Rider on his YouTube channel got on with his, and he's had bother, and he's gone to a BMW S1000.
Well, is that a consideration then?
No, it's not the S1000. It's the tall touring version. XR, I think.
BMW make anything you'd be interested in?
No, I mean the two. I mean you can't knock the GS, can you? I mean, a load of people like taking the mick, and I like taking the mick out of GS owners, but they wouldn't keep buying them if they weren't good.
They're supposed to be brilliant, yeah. I mean, I think
I've always fancied the Kawasaki 1400, or what is it?
Oh yes, I mean you went to look at one of those and ended up buying a Versys, didn't you?
I did.
And that's another one that Paul recommended, wasn't it? The Kawasaki.
Yeah, the 1400, not the Tourer, the oh god.
Is it more of a sports bike though, really?
Yeah, it is. It's a big sports bike, but it's not a sports bike really. It's a sports tour really, a Grand Tourer. It's just a 1400 engine. It's a cracking bike, apparently. I think it's another one that's going to bite the dust though with Euro 5.
Yeah, probably.
I do think the bikes that are currently out there are some of the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Some of the Euro 4 bikes, a few of the Euro 5s, but they ain't going to develop them much more, are they? They're all thinking what they're going to bring out for electric bike, aren't they? That's what they're going to be working and developing towards.
I suppose that's what all the R&D departments are going to have to work on now, isn't it?
Yeah, I just don't see them developing the internal combustion engine too much more.
It's difficult for bikes though, isn't it, really, to get the batteries small enough and...
Yeah, it's still not perfect. It works better in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of electric bikes, but I've not ridden one, so I don't want to dish them too much. But
well, it'd be interesting to ride one, wouldn't it? It's interesting to ride anything, I think.
Of course it is, yeah.
What it's like. I mean, 2 wheels is 2 wheels, isn't it? It's still going to be fun.
It is. It's still better than 4. Well, I say it's still better. It's still better than 4 when the temperature's above 5
it's
degrees.
Not raining.
Yeah, ice scares the bejesus out of me, to be honest with you. One of the industrial units. I think we've gone by it.
Have I?
I'm going to call in here. You turn round up there and come back. I've just spotted it. Can you see me?
I can see you.
Here she comes. Overshot.
When you said it was like a big dealer, I was expecting something big and flashy and, you know.
This is Tamworth Yamaha. Where are you going, Carol?
I'm next to you. Just, I'm very good at going backwards.
You'll do that. Right, guys. Catch up with you when we've been and had a chat, eh? What did we think to Tamworth Yamaha?
Tamworth Yamaha is very smart. It's got some lovely stuff, lovely collection of bikes upstairs as well.
Yeah, it's got Josh Brooks's, is it Josh Brooks's race bike? It's got a race bike up there anyway, several of them.
Ashley King's race bike is up there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
very
beautifully
nice, very
laid
smart,
out.
fabulously tidy workshop behind the glass there.
Yeah.
Very, very tidy. But yeah, lovely stuff.
But the upshot was...
He doesn't know any more than we know about the MT10.
No,
So
he doesn't know really when it's going to be in.
one.
And didn't even particularly want to... He didn't want to take a name and let us know either, did he? So just watch your social media when they come in.
Which is fine,
So,
but...
Yeah. I
we'll
mean,
see.
you just think... You'd be really anxious to sell your bike. I'll take your details and let you know. But you don't. So,
But
what do you think, guys?
Well, the way he was talking, I don't know if he thinks he's going to get much stock either, so it's probably, he doesn't have to do much selling when they come in.
That's the trouble with bike salesmen.
easy,
They don't have to work hard at it, do they?
No.
People come in and want it.
They've already made the decision before they walk through the door, haven't they?
Yeah. And the other thing, I've broke my jacket while I'm here.
Nice gaffer taped up, aren't you? On your
I'm gaffer tape. I mean, my beautiful Rukka jacket, the rubberised zip, is pretty shite, to be honest.
Yeah, not impressed.
Hey, I'm up at 39 mpg at the moment. How's it made that? It's riding with you all the time. Cool, look at the traffic. You're going to have to do some serious filtering here, gal.
Have to head across here. Sorry, what were we talking about? Are you going to buy a new bike? Well, you see, the trouble is you still like the bike you've got, don't you?
I do like the bike I've got, yeah.
So it'd have to be really good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I don't even have to sell this one, do I? I could just keep it. So I could have a one for best and one for...
Have a collection of bikes.
Yeah, I quite fancy a collection.
Quite fancy a collection. But then is there any point in having two MT10s? Like, they're very similar bikes, aren't they? Like, identical, really. Same engine.
Oh, this one's booked on. This one's booked on a ferry to Spain next year.
That one we have got to keep really, because it's booked on a ferry to Spain next year, which it's been booked on for the last 2.5 years.
The amount Brittany ferries charge for an update every time. I'll buy another MT10 soon.
Probably better keep it. Yeah, it needs to be kept at least until then, doesn't it? Yeah, I can't face phoning Brittany ferries again. Cost you a fortune to phone them. They charge you a fortune on the phone line just to make a change, don't they? I think when I got a last phone bill, the charge was 20 quid just for you hanging on to change your booking.
Yeah. Anyway, we still haven't properly finished this video off, have we?
No, sorry, we've gone
we've gone off at a tangent again, and all this will be deleted out.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting on the motorway now. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you interested in the new MT10? We want to test ride to see what it's like. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye for now.